As we head into what is likely to be a very bullish event with AMC stock, and that is going to be earnings coming tomorrow morning. And I, just so you guys know, put out my expectations for AMC earnings in the last video. My best case scenario, my worst case scenario, and my base case scenario, aka what I personally think is going to happen with AMC. Long story short, I think it's going to be a very bullish earnings for our favorite company. Now, if potentially earnings is not bullish enough, take this. Antara Capital just sold another 1.3 million shares of APE. This signals to me that someone somewhere knows something, and that someone might be Antara Capital. Now, why are they selling stock of APE? I think that's important that we get into here in this video, because it seems like every couple of days or so, they're selling millions of shares of APE. This should be when they are the most bullish. This should be when they are buying more APE and they are shorting more AMC, aka this arbitrage trade. But they're not doing that. On top of that, you're seeing large investment banks such as Barclays coming out with their 13F filings today, indicating they now own a call position of about 7.5 million shares of AMC Entertainment. This is up 260% in the last quarter alone. Quite bullish. Now, on top of that, we're going to get into the option activity that we've seen today heading into tomorrow's earnings and go over a key new proposed rule change that hopefully will be going into effect pretty soon that will affect the way hedge funds make money. It will affect the amount of fees that they can charge their clients, kind of changing their investment strategies quite a bit. So we got a lot to talk about. The work is cut out for us here in this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Now, if you guys also want to come trade with me live in real time, we do this every single day. The markets are open. Keep you guys up to date with any breaking news or events that are coming out in the markets, as well as obviously post my trade, summer winners, summer losers. So full disclaimer there, you still got to come to your own conclusions, make your own decisions, but that is a good tool that you can use to help enhance your trading journey. We made a couple of trades today. We got one on AMC for tomorrow morning as well. Like I said, if you want access to that, link down below in the description of this video. But first things first, let's dive into it with Antara Capital. Antara Capital sells 1,263,420 shares of AMC Entertainment stock. Now, off first glance there, it looks like they sold AMC, the stock that we own. But further digging says the shares were sold at an average price of $1.51 for a total value of almost $2 million. Following the completion of the sale, the insider now owns 155 million shares of the company's stock, valued at approximately $234 million. The sale was disclosed in a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which can be accessed through the SEC website. So why is Antara Capital selling millions of shares of APE? Seems like every few days or so. Well, probably because they know something. Probably because this court proceeding is not going the way that they would have hoped it went. And after all, Antara Capital, they got the sweetest deal out of all of them. They set up this trade and got most of their APE shares for around 60 cents. But the rest of the hedge funds, they piled into this trade much higher. They're down on their positions. Those cost to borrow fees alone have whacked away any of the potential profits that they would have made if this conversion were to have already happened. And I think it's very much likely that it's not going to happen, or it's going to take a while for it to ultimately happen. And after tomorrow's earnings, things might get a little bit more bullish for AMC stock. As I indicated, my best case scenario, or my base case scenario, I should say, is for a 10 to 15% rally with AMC, but you could rally much higher just depending how those financial results come out, what AMC has to say about the popcorn business or the variable seating that they have started to enroll in their theaters, how much incremental revenue did that bring in, and what does the forward-looking guidance as well as the balance sheet of AMC currently look like. Okay, that sounds very bullish, but forget all that. That don't matter. You know what really matters? It's the court date. And Antara Capital, at a time in which they should be loading up on APE shares, buying as many as they can get their hands on, because this was a quote-unquote slam dunk trade, or a home run trade. Well, it doesn't seem like such a home run anymore, as we are weeks out from getting the next court appearance, which is going to be June 29th or June 30th. We're likely to get a new update here on the near-term horizon, because the judge said she wanted, or she would be open to wrapping this up by the end of June, meaning that any recommendation from the special mastery, I know I get a lot of hate for not saying that right, should be implemented, or there should be some kind of change that happens before courts. And it looks like we're getting closer and closer to that moment. And Antara Capital continues to sell stock, and that looks like a pretty bullish thing for us. Now let's switch gears. Let's look at the institutional filings that we're getting for AMC stock. And the one that sticks out to me the most is Barclays. Barclays just increased their put position by 260,000, bringing their total exposure to 1.5 million shares. But get this, Barclays also increased their call position by 260%, bringing their total call exposure to 7.5 million shares of AMC. At the same time, they reduced their share position by about 13%, bringing that total to 274,000. But this call position, 7.5 million shares. If you look at the second largest owner of AMC, they own 25 million shares of AMC. So this would make Barclays, if they exercise these calls, or just based off of the exposure that they have to AMC, this would make Barclays, I believe, the third or fourth largest owner of AMC. So this is a dramatic increase. This means they only owned a call position of roughly 1.5 to 2 million shares. They increased that position by about 5 million shares in the last quarter, and you're going to tell me that AMC is going to be bearish from here on out? I think Barclays knows more than all of us in regards to what's going to happen next with AMC. After all, their homies are probably over there sitting at the desk at Citadel. I mean, I'm not going to shame them. I'm not going to shame anyone here. But I think it's a pretty good sign that AMC is probably going to be bullish. You usually don't see this kind of positioning before a catalyst that could potentially dilute the stock 80, 85, 90, 95%. Typically, you wouldn't expect to see filings like this. You should expect to see a lot of puts, and you should expect to see a lot of people outright selling all of their AMC. While you do see some reds here, a lot of them are put positions, believe it or not, being actually sold out of. And a lot of them are white or green, indicating an increase to their overall positions in AMC. So that's one filing that definitely sticks out to me that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. On top of that, Tiger Global is taking massive losses. Their hedge fund, worth at the peak $12.7 billion, just took a major hit because they were investing in a lot of crypto exchanges. They lost $38 million just to FTX alone. They also lost about $50 million investing in Binance and other Chinese stocks. So they are losing billions of dollars in this market. And it's similar for other hedge funds out there. The gains in this market have been in the top 5 to top 10 technology names. Think Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Tesla, Facebook. It's not been in the stocks that are mostly kind of, as a broad rule of thumb, owned, right? Not a lot of people thought technology was going to outperform sectors like banking heading into 2023. Banking was the most liked sector heading into 2023. While a lot of hedge funds do own the names that I just mentioned, some of them don't. And even if they do own these names, everything else has pretty much been down in 2023. So again, not looking too good, especially if you are short on AMC. And to make matters worse, SEC's Gensler calls out private equity fees. Private funds' gross assets have soared in recent decades to $25 trillion at the end of March from $800 billion in 1998. Gensler said at a conference organized by the Managed Funds Association, which represents hedge funds. Fees and expenses total hundreds of billions of dollars per year. The SEC is working to complete in the coming months a rule that would impose significant new requirements on private equity and hedge funds. In addition to providing investors with quarterly disclosures of their fees, expenses, and performance, funds would be prohibited from charging certain fees. And obviously this would be high fees. This can change the way fundamentally hedge funds invest their capital, right? When they're only paying out a lot of the time, 0.25%, 0.5%, 1%, or if they're only making, I should say, those percentages, or sometimes it can be higher, right? Some funds do the right thing and only charge a little bit. Some funds charge 2-3% fees. When you start to bring in less as a hedge fund, you really have to prioritize keeping clients. Now, a lot of decision makings that have happened with hedge funds are not really what people would want their money invested in, meaning that a lot of people wouldn't want to be short on AMC right now if they knew exactly what their hedge fund was doing. So I think this can overall help to kind of move around how hedge funds kind of position things. I think this could, help force hedge funds to take less risky bets. And one of the most riskiest bets in this market is shorting AMC. That's a literal fact. Hedge funds have lost. If they were chasing this arbitrage trade, they have lost on this trade. There is no profit from this trade left if you are a hedge fund that is in this arbitrage trade. Okay? Now, on top of that, AMC stock is up 5% here on the day, sitting at $6.03 per share. $6 is really an important level. Anything over $6, and if we get good earnings tomorrow, like I think we will, you're going to get pretty dang squeezy pretty quickly. And it's not really, a place that you want to be if you are a hedge fund. Now, you're seeing this July 21st $10 call bought for 25 cents a piece. They bought 6,500 of these options worth $162,500. Another May 19th $5 call purchase for 93 cents a piece worth $93,000. A July 21st $10 call, 5,000 contracts, purchase at 28 cents a piece for $140,000. Another 50-cent call for May 19th worth $265,000. A January 17th, 2025 $1 call worth $144,000. So you are seeing some bullish positioning today, and the overall positive order value was 12% today, relative to the 4% positive order value that we have seen over the last week. Yesterday's positive order value was 2%. So it looks like more and more people are betting on AMC to go higher throughout the rest of this week. So basically tomorrow. As far as the May 5th option expiration, which is again tomorrow on AMC Stock, the volume today was 61% calls and 39% puts. So almost 2-to-1 ratio for calls relative to puts. I think that is another sign that earnings are probably going to be better than expected, and you're probably going to get a bullish reaction after AMC earnings. Again, if you guys have not seen the last video that just came out, highly recommend you guys watch that video before AMC does report their earnings. Nonetheless, guys, that is going to do it for this video. If you guys want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. We made a trade on AMC. We made a trade on a couple other stocks as well, some earnings trades. Never a recommendation, never financial advice. Do what you guys want and come to your own conclusions, but earnings season is the best season. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.